Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for your kind introduction. I'm really glad to be part of AirPost 2.0. On behalf of my team, I would like to extend my warmest welcome and good wishes to all the participants. Um, uh, I will be presenting on the second series of importance of e-learning and emerging methodologies. Um, and here we have. So I have a confession to make, and a question is on your way. Could any of us have ever imagined that learning would be stopped and that not by the learners or the instructors or the institutions, nor even by the governments, but pandemic, who got a name as well, that is COVID, aged 19. So to say, if we talk about like 5 to 10 or say 20 years ago, could any of us have imagined that we would be attending an international summit from the comfort or our home or say residence, or maybe someone is sitting at the corner of the home that he or she would not want us to take the even name of. So jokes aside, some of us might have imagined this digitization, but some of us must have wished. So the confession is that back in 2018, I and my team, I like planned to conduct Unitex Pakistan virtually, which we had to shift to physical mode just because like pandemic didn't make virtual a norm then. So I would say that I was amongst the wishers that digitization should happen and should become a norm. So greetings everyone, connecting with you right now. I'm Aisha Khan. I'm an English literature graduate. By profession, I'm a digital content producer and instructional designer. I have 2 years of work experience in academia and industry. I assist instructors in designing their curricular, for instance, e-academic courses. I'm very passionate about and occasionally conduct as well trainings and workshops for the instructors of government and private institutions on the role and effective utilization of instructional mediums, LMS. The research areas I am more interested or I want to work on are e-learning and economy, entrepreneurship and education, taking content more than just deliverance of information, rather let's explore that how we can make it like learning and quality engagement through content. The reason to give this insight about my expertise is to encourage each and every one from the audience who shares the same like research interests and the passion to explore or work with e-learning experts, or want assistance in what I and my team at UMT Connected do, or and are experts at. Feel encouraged and feel free to connect with us at stairs@umt.edu.pk. So Team Connected highly acknowledge and appreciate collaborations in multiple domains. For instance, LMS enablement, master template trainings. So the agenda of the presentation is the presentation details and propose the OLARC methodology. Basically, this that is based or the methodology is the template we will discuss that address the needs to document, digitize, and standardize the course content. The reason to make it the master, to name it the master template, is that it is uni-server. Any instructor from any department, school, subject matter can populate its course content in the respective sectionalized sections in the master template. We will discuss the like significance of the course content in traditional versus online teaching, and how this template will help you to like digitize your same course content or say lesson plan for the online teaching and learning. Why there is a need to implement instructional methodologies, we will discuss this. Why to invest in edtech, and there is how much scope is there to like generate revenue in this industry. We will discuss the utilization of instructional mediums to achieve SDG 4, that is quality like education, transformation of traditional course content for e-learning or say remote learning through this template that is based on OLARC methodology. We will discuss the significance of content interaction and assessment in the respective template. For there should be an alignment between what you are like teaching and the learning objectives and your activities. So we will also discuss session alignment metrics, and I will surely consider and respond to your queries in the question answer session. So moving on, if we look at the marquee trends, see, while emerging researches suggests that the courses delivered online produce at least comparable like learning outcomes relative to traditional classroom-based courses when use the similar instructional methods. So the extent to which this conclusion can be reached is based upon evidence. Like the evidence is based upon varies substantially within various disciplines, and this tells us that there is enough room to like invest in this market, because education and tech are the future. You can generate revenue, you can create jobs, you can produce more skillful persons who are self-reliant, and freelancing would be there, and so there are very much like opportunities there. So I would like to introduce my institution, that is University of Management and Technology, and UMT being proactive has established its department for e-learning assistance for its faculty, named as UMT Connected, my own department. So we are glad that we assisted our faculty 24/7 in LMS enablement sessions, as how to teach online, to make them like and engage them with the tools and technologies that were available during the pandemic, so that they should deliver, or they would be able to deliver their lectures with ease and flow. So I feel that like while training the faculty in LMS enablement sessions in UMT following the OLARC methodology, we observed that not all but few of our teaching like partners or say instructors had some ambiguities, or that they that the instructors would get replaced once they populate their content on this master template. So this myth needs to be like shattered, because here we see that these are the pillars on which education is based upon. Faculty is important, learner is important. These are the pillars. Support from the government is pivotal. The policies matter, and it all collectively like makes learning happen and makes the for the quality learning. The all pillars are necessary, and they all have their own value and standing point. So this should the white lie should be like discouraged, that faculty has no importance, and once the content they will upload the content or the master template, so they will be replaced. It's not going to happen. It never was agenda. So we now need to shift on this mode, because things I think should get clear now. So this image is the courtesy of HEC. This shows that this shows like the adaptability that various like Azad Jammu Kashmir or Punjab, or what was the ratio of adaptability of online education before pandemic, and this is after pandemic. So the results are encouraging. At least pandemic made this, or say pushed us towards to explore and practice online teaching methodologies. So when we talk about online versus traditional class, we agree on the idea that you deliver the same content, but the difference comes how you deliver. All the difference come here. So we will discuss this in various steps. in the upcoming sections as well. So in UMT, we have on the basis of OLARC methodology, we are offering 2 courses, that is Digital Academic Skills course and the Art and Science of Teaching and Learning course. We will go through step by step these courses, that what makes these courses different, and what is the significance of OLARC methodology, and how we integrated this in these 2 courses. So when we were teaching, or when we were like assisting or training a UMT faculty about LMS enablement, we observed that the instructors has some ambiguity about the digitization of course content as well. They like mix, or they have a mixed understanding that maybe LMS is a teaching medium, and the like digitization of course content, they take this with that of like remote learning or say e-learning. This before moving forward, I feel the need to address for us as practitioners, we should have this much needed understanding about the LMS or say learning management system itself, and OLARC master template as well. So first we need to get clear that LMS is a resource sharing medium and not a teaching or say remote or e-class teaching. Like it's not a teaching medium, rather utilize it as resource sharing material. And thus respective sections in the OLARC are devised to populate relevant content in the designated sections. For instance, if there is an overview section, the learner or the viewer expect the overview of that those particular like session 1 or those 2 lectures. It should not give me overview of all the course. So another myth that instructors must get clarity about is that since this template that is based on OLARC methodology, it is an already made or say given template, it leaves or might leave a B room for the instructor or say resource person. Let's recall this, or let's understand this idea in a way that by recalling mine and your childhood. And with that, remember the similar or say replica clothes that we all were supposed to wear, but in actual we were forced to wear. Let's dare to question and repeal the decision of your mother, or say that the tailor who could have created or say got the opportunity to showcase his or her craft by utilizing the similar piece of cloth. He could have innovated that same piece in 2 different like designs. Seemingly you have the template, the instructor have the template, irrespective of your course, the degree program you are teaching, the certain sections are there, but you can customize it to your course content. It's not that I will dictate you like what to you have to put this or you have to come up with this activity. Rather it's up to you how you want to customize it. You know your audience, you know your the needs of your learners and all. So some of us like we got this feedback that this is just the copy pasting of lesson planning, and we all have been doing this for centuries and all. I absolutely agree with the claim that it's like uploading the same lesson plan, but it's not copy pasting. I would like disagree with this. Rather, we claim it that it is the digitization of lesson planning. The method is based upon the identification and the observations, the instructional practices practiced by the instructors, and the findings from the issues identified. Based on these things, this methodology and this template has been designed. So let me take you back to APOS 1.0 when Hicks and UMT connected in collaboration with Academium and QM, and Dell's UMT took the solid step to organize the first international summit for you. And I opted to join the organizing team instead of like presenting. But it was since then that we felt the need to take on board the instructors, learners, the chair holders in the respective institutions, and policymakers to have this much needed discussion so to reconsider and pledge to play a respective or say designated role to pave a road to achieve SDG 4. How to do this? By reviewing the teaching practices, transforming the methods, the knowledge, the way the knowledge is being delivered, and also scrutinizing the standards itself over which a learner's learning is assessed. This, it's observed that one of the reason to resist to adapt the like e-transformation is that we are brought up to believe that meetups or are physical and virtual is just seeing. That's the reason that we believe that learning is confined to just four walls, while in reality it is not so. This is the reason to specifically have you all on board today as well, because you are significant. Either you are a learner, either you are a practitioner or instructor or representative of an institution or policymaker. For the role you play or are expected to play, and thus should play, and also are expected to should play. So far, we agree on the idea that you, I, the learners, the instructors, the institution, the support bodies, government, we all of us were prepared to teach, to deliver the knowledge that was already directed and documented, but could not as we planned to deliver. So where we went wrong, it's that it was not that we were not ready to deliver or we were not ready to play our role. Rather, we lack the medium through which we reach out to the learner, or learner could like get connect with the instructor. Or even if some instructors were delivering, there was like sharing of course content or the resource material, but we forgot to like understand this, that sharing of course content in traditional versus online, there is a lot of difference. So those amongst our fellows who believe it was pandemic who ceased the learning, dear, you are requested to like join the team hide. And those who don't know but believe it was someone, but that someone is not pandemic, let's cheer for the team seekers. It's not meant to like discourage, but let's take team hide as the expert and practitioners, or say the advocates of traditional teaching methodologies, who believes that learning require four walls, and since pandemic caused the doors or say close for the school or university buildings, this learning not enter or say can't exit. It's also like we should appreciate on the other hand the team seekers who belong to this lot, who however delivered the already like devised or say mapped out knowledge or course content through various delivery or say connecting channels. So to name LMS, Zoom, iSpring, or say VoiceThread or Google Meet or Class. But here is a need to understand that there is a difference between giving access to course content versus deliverance of that course content and customization of the same course content for traditional versus online. Remote or hybrid teaching, like there is a difference. We need to understand that we can't like take deliverance of course content, we can't mix with that with the access to course content. This signifies the significance of the course content itself. The deviations in the delivery methods results in bringing deviated results. That's the reason that the delivery of course content, the alignment of learning objectives with that of learning activities and assessment techniques has to be customized as per the teaching models, or say traditional, if it's traditional or hybrid or MOOCs or whatever. So far, we agree on the idea that learning and deliverance of knowledge or say education is not and should not be confined to four walls. Buildings are closed, but not learning, and learning should never stop. So let's move on to like LMS, just like we made the teaching move on it when pandemic happened. We have discussed this before, that LMS is a resource sharing material like you are giving access to your material, and it's the deliverance of your course content. But what makes the difference, or how effectively we can utilize LMS, is based that how we are delivering the same content or customizing it to our subject matter. So one of the reasons that I and my team at UMT Connected come up with the proposal to train each instructor on this LMS and master template, and encourage them to like share the same content, but through this template. And we conducted the 24/7 marathon to train the faculty on the first working day soon after the closing call was that a large a number of our respectful fellow instructors like surprisingly took LMS as teaching medium instead of utilizing the system as a medium where the learner can have access to customized course. Uh, so the lectures, or say the class discussions, or class discussion forums, or the learning activities are devised like keeping in view that should be devised or was expected to devise, keeping in view the mode of deliverance and assessment, is like thinking that this is remote and online like teaching, and this is not the traditional one, but we lagged behind this, and that was the need to train them and assist them on this. So moving on to the master template, I will walk you through this. So there are 6 sessions. In each session, take session as week 1, where you have 2 lectures. So then we have welcome note, get to know each other. There is course syllabus section, there is course calendar, format of the course, and in session 1 there is overview, learning objectives, learning activities, assignments, assessments, recommended resources, and concluding remarks. Then starts the session 2. So this is the interface of our master template. It is attractive because since it's online teaching, so we need to make it aesthetically attractive as well as like content wise appropriate as well. So this is the first section in your master template. This is a welcome note. You can edit this section. You can add a video here. You can add a link to like create a link. You can embed even the link of a video. So what's suggested is that don't be monotonous. Since if it was my course, if I would be teaching this, instead of like utilizing the same picture that is given in the master template, I would go for another picture, or I would rather make a video of my own where I would be welcoming my student. If it's first semester student, since it's their new phase of life, I would go like this. Hey, hope you are as excited as I am to teach you this course. And I will title the course I'm teaching either the spring or fall. What is the significance of that course in that particular degree, or how they can benefit. But be non-academic, or say avoid giving the bookish definitions. So you can play with the content. You don't have to write this much content. You can add a video of your own, or even you can dedicate a song, because this is their first session in your respective whatever course you are teaching. So make it more like engaging. This gives me an insight about the personality of my instructor as well, that how much space he or she can give me, how can I access him or not. So moving on to the second section in the master template. So here it is, the instructor's profile. I often ask instructors that take this as your business website, because you are selling yourself. Instead of giving your lengthy bio, play with this section. You can add the link of your publications, your particular expertise, or your research publications, or that conferences you have attended in this particular subject. For instance, if I'm teaching digital marketing, I would give my detailed bio by highlighting my name. and then giving the link of my detailed bio either through my university like website where there is your profile. And I will utilize the rest of the section to share my expertise in this particular subject um, with my students. In this, like if I'm teaching digital marketing, in the below section, I will mention my expertise about digital marketing. So the viewers should not get bored by this. So you can add your links to your LinkedIn or whatever you have achieved so far, but in a like concise manner. So moving on to the next. So far, you have introduced yourself, you have introduced the course, you have welcomed them. Now is the time that you get to know your students. So make this get to know each other more than just knowing names. Because see, if we are here 50 or 100 people, what's the point of like interaction? What's the point that I just get to know your name? Rather, I am more interested in knowing the skill set or the researches you are interested in or you want to do in life or what you have achieved so far, how we can collaborate. So utilize this section for that thing. You are giving take this as opportunity that you are giving your students the platform where they can showcase their skills. For instance, I will come up with an activity that I will ask them to more than just sharing name and their background, share the links or to their videos or the blogs or whatever they have done or achieved, share the links of those, or make an introductory video or think on like those lines. And then I would give them the guidelines that either it would be 5 to 10 minutes or the word limit should be there or the deadline should be there. So this is like you are giving them the platform or giving them the chance to connect with the right skill set where they can collaborate and come up with new things. You are encouraging entrepreneurship in this section. I will remember for the rest of my life if there was a course where I get to connect with someone and we both build something that generate either revenue or that would be helpful in my career or anything. So utilize this section in that way. Then there is course calendar. You have to mention there will be certain sections are there. Here you have to mention the topics you will be covering in session 1. What are the like activities for that in that particular like session. Session means week 1, or what is the learning objectives of that particular like lectures. So you have to populate course calendar in that way. You can like populate this step by step as well. But in the first 2-3 weeks, the instructors know what he or she is about to teach. So it's convenient for them to like pre-plan and pre-populate the course template. After reading this section, format of the course, a student or say a learner should get the idea that what is the mode of the content, either it's hybrid or online, or what are the numbers of the quizzes or assignments, how he or she will be assessed upon, what is the distribution of marks. So in this section, make these things clear so that he or she don't have to go to other departments or get the misinformation, because you are clearing them all the things, but like what is the format of the course. So here we have the session 1, or say overview of week 1. Give me overview of just those 2 lectures that you will be delivering in this week. Just restrict your content to those 2 lectures. What you will be teaching, what you expect them to read, what they should expect them, they should learn from this content and all. If there is pre-reading material, you can share this, mention the heading with whatever like you are sharing. So this is the overview of just those 2 lectures. The learning objectives, mentioned in this section the learning objectives of those 2 lectures. When we talk about session 1 and learning objectives, or say overview or learning activities, you have to stick to those 2 lectures. Learning activities are there. There is a section for this. You will give guidelines about the learning activities. You can share either the video if you want to share that they have to go through this video and then they complete the learning activity and all. So there is a enough room, like you can play and you can say customize and show your skills as well, and we will assist you through all this. Either you need to customize the color, or you want to add make a specialized or say customized video for your content display and all. Then there are assessments and assignments. After reading this section, the learners should get the idea that either it's a quiz or assignment or discussion forum, or either both or all in this week. See, you are populating or say planning your week, and you are aiding your learner that he or she can pre-plan his or her week. If someone is planning vacation, and there you have mentioned that there will be an quiz or assignment in the coming week, so he or she should not like take off or be absent in the class. So this is one way of like collaborating and assisting each others in planning your lives. You can mention the guidelines for the certain sections that you have mentioned. Then there is discussion forum in each session. Take this as class participation. You can allocate marks for this. This improves the writing capacity or the writing like abilities of the students. For instance, take if they are taking 5 or 6 sessions, and in each courses, they have to write 5 to 6 discussion forums, and their learnings are improved, the English is being improved, their expression improves. So there is a lot of learning in this template can happen. In the recommended resources, just like we talk about the alignment, there should be alignment in the content you are sharing and the recommended resources. Between the learning objectives and the learning activities that you are conducting. It should not be all over the place, and it should restrict to those 2 lectures and the learning objectives and the like learning activities of those 2 lectures. In the concluding remarks, conclude just like you will in your traditional class. It is suggested that appreciate those who have performed well in that particular week. Because it's a big thing for me as student to see my name on my instructor's profile. So this is one way of like encouraging your students. And then in concluding remarks, you can mention the pre-readings if you want to give, if you any like just like you conclude your lectures in the traditional way. So this can happen. So this is the structure of the course. There is overview, learning objectives. We have gone through all this. So far we have covered the significance of course content in and traditional teaching, the role of objective oriented content deliverance, the organization of the course content with CIE and SAM, how to document and standardize the course content with OLARC, the need and benefit to integrate education and technology. So wishes and prayers that we get to resume the upcoming semester on campus, but with hybrid mode. For future is hybrid. Connect with me and my team at UMT Connected. We would encourage you to document, deliver your course content through master template. We are specialized in conducting workshops for instructors and practitioners, and are open for collaboration. So join our digital league, for we believe in standardized quality deliverance of course content. We wish and pray for your continued success, and that you resume the upcoming semester with more zeal and zest. I hope it was insightful, and looking forward to your questions. Thank you so much.